Good morning, dear learner. Welcome to this SWAYAM course on the research process in the field of physical education and sports sciences. I am delighted to begin this academic journey with you. At the outset, let me briefly introduce about the purpose of this course. Especially, we are discussing about in the field of physical education and sports sciences. We often deal with the performance improvement, training methods, injury prevention and rehabilitation, fitness assessment, and human movement analysis through the biomechanical analysis 2D and 3D. But an important question arises here: how do we know what truly works? That is the questions marks. The answer lies in the research. Research is not just for the scientists in the laboratories. It is a systematic way of thinking, it is a systematic way of observing and systematic way of solving the real world problems. The human face day-to-day life and the real world problems. So with the help of the research, we solve these type of the problems. So this is the systematic way you think, you observe, you solve your real world problems. Whether you are a student, teacher, coach, or the practitioner, research help you make the informed and evidence-based decision. This is the important thing is the research. It provide to you the solution, but important thing is evidence-based solutions or decisions. So in today's lecture, we will begin with the fundamental of research. We will try to understand in this lectures what is research. Important thing is we learn about the concept of research, especially in the field of physical education and sports sciences. Why research is important in physical education and sports sciences. Next important thing, the basic characteristics of research and how research contribute to the knowledge and practice. So let's us start with a simple questions. What do you think, what do you understand by the terms of research? Simple, the research is a term. The research is a systematic and scientific process. Important thing is the research is a systematic, planned and scientific process. Main thing is for what? For finding the answer to the questions or to solving the problem, maybe in the real world, in education and sports and physical education. It involves careful observation, data collection, analysis and interpretation, and after that the research give you the proper evidence-based solution. It is means the research simple is a systematic scientific process of finding answer to the question or the solving the real world problem. In the context of physical education and sports sciences, research may involve the study of topic just like we giving some example. Number one is the effect of exercise on health, just like the performance enhancement techniques. We go for the psychological factor in sports, how the psychological factor affect in the sports performance. Biomechanical analysis of different type of the body movements, you go for 2D analysis, 3D analysis and biomechanical modeling. One important things to the performance enhancement. So this course will gradually guide you from the basic concept to the advanced understanding of research process. By the end of this course, I think, my dear learner, you will able to design, conduct, interpret the research in scientific manner. Before we proceed further, I encourage you to actively participate in this course. Think critically and relate the concept of to the real world situation in sports and physical activities and day-to-day life. So let us begin our journey in the world of the research process in the field of physical education and sports sciences. Dear learner, let us understand the word of research in a very simple way. Important thing is the word of research is made up of two different words. Number one is the re and second word is search. So re is related to the again, search means to find out. That is means again, again, again and find out. The important thing is means search means to find out. So research simply means to search again and again carefully until we get the correct and reliable answer. The important things we go for re means again and search means to find out. Important thing is means careful inquiry under the we get the correct and reliable answer. Important thing is re means again. It means that the things will was happened before to search. The important thing the existence. The important thing is through the research we try to establish the existence, and second important thing, we are not able to establish the existence. So in that case we find out and we giving the conclusion that the or method is not appropriate to establish the existence. Next time we go for the most or more advanced process and methods. So now the things about the sports, we relate the research process in the field of physical education and sports. Suppose a cricket coach is trying to improve a batsman performance. He does not just observe once and give the advice. Instead, he watched the player again and again in several matches, several series, and several days. Maybe in studios, maybe with the help of the videos, check different techniques, and then find out what makes the player is mistake by player. This repeated and careful process just as similar to the research. So let us we take the another example. Just like you imagine, as a physical education teacher want to know which training method improve the sprint speed. For example, you try to want to check the which method is helpful to improve the sprint speed. First, for example, the interval training, and we go for the second one is the continuous training. So through the researcher will select the student, first step. Second, apply the different training methods. Next is the record the performance, compare the result, and then conclude which method is better. So this is not guessing, this is the research. So we can say that the research is a systematic, scientific and logical process where we collect the information, analyze it carefully and interpret it to answer the question and solve the different kind of the problem, maybe a real world problems. In sport sciences, research help us to improve the performance, prevent the injuries, design better training program, and understanding how the human body works during different kind of exercise. So remember this simple idea that research equal to the research is a repeated careful search for truth. It is means you are going to a systematic scientific planned process and repeated process. It means repeated careful process. Main purpose is to search for truth. Next important thing is the research based on the philosophy and the research based on the philosophical context. The important thing, the first thing is the research influenced by the philosophical thinking. Now let us understand a very important idea in the research. The research is influenced by the philosophical thinking. The first important thing is the philosophy and philosophical thinking. At the first, they may sound difficult, but let's make it very simple. Important thing is the philosophy and philosophical thinking. So first we need to understand what is actually the philosophy. The philosophy means the way we think about the knowledge. This is the philosophical concept. This means a researcher, the way of researcher that thinks about the knowledge, think about the truth, reality. In simple word, we can say that it is our way of thinking and understanding the world. Okay, how the things, how we understand the real words. Now the question is, how is research connected to the philosophy? The main important thing is the way as a researcher think, decide how they do research. Important thing is a different type of method, different type of process, different type of techniques generally we used in the research in the field of physical education and sports sciences. But important thing, the researcher thinks and researcher decide how they do the research. So this is the philosophical concept of research. Next important thing is, just like we giving in simple understanding example, if you believe in numbers and measurement, important thing is you do one type of research and a different type of research. If you need to be numbers, data in the form of number and measurement. If you believe in feeling and experiences, then you will select the different type of method and procedure. You do another type of research. So that belief come from the philosophy, which type of method, which type of process you select for to solve of your problem in a systematic way. Next important thing is the philosophy guide nature of knowledge, reality and method of inquiry. So we have understood that the research is influenced by the philosophy. Important thing is the researchers, how researchers thinks related to solve any kind of the problem, which type of method we select, and how they think about the real words. Now let's us see how philosophy actually guide the research. The philosophy mainly guide three important things. Number one is nature of knowledge, reality, that is called the truth, and third one is method of inquiry. The first is important thing of nature of knowledge. So what is knowledge is an important thing. So what kind of knowledge do we accept as a true? Just like we giving an example in related to the sports. Suppose you want to study. So does yoga improve flexibility? So now two type of thinking can happen. Once a student believe only measurable result, that is means measurable result like degree of flexibility are real knowledge. That is the way of thinking. And another student thinks the athlete feeling like relaxation and comfort are also knowledge. So the philosophy of researcher decide the what type of knowledge you will accept, number of experiences. Next important thing is the knowledge. The knowledge is the simple knowledge is the defined as a justified true belief. The understanding of knowledge in research is a very important thing. The using the diagrams here to be giving the truth, belief and knowledge. So dear learner, now look at this diagram carefully. It may look simple, but they explain very deep concept in the form of research. We can say three main part here. The important thing is number one is truth, two belief, and third one is the knowledge. Next important thing is what is belief. So belief means belief are what we think is true, but they may or may not be correct. Important thing is or this is our belief, but our belief may be correct, may be wrong. For example, some people believe that running daily is always best way improving fitness. But important thing is always, but it is always true. This is the question mark. Not necessary. It's depend on the what type of training to use, what intensity of your exercise and individual condition. So belief is the personal opinion and the belief is the personal assumption. Next thing is the truth. So after that, the truth, what is actually is truth? The belief is your personal assumptions. It means next is truth. The truth are fact that are the proving or accurate. That is means truth means proven fact. And that is means that is the accurate. For example, the regular training improve the cardiovascular endurance. This is supported by scientific studies. So it is considered as truth because we have scientific supports. We have justified of with the help of previous scientific inquiries. So we can say that this is the truth. Next important thing, how the belief and truth convert into the knowledge. So important thing, what is knowledge? Now look at the center. This is the center is knowledge. Knowledge is the overlap between the truth and belief. That means when your belief is supported by evidence and fact, it becomes the knowledge. The important thing is you have first belief and that your belief is supported by truth, evidences and fact, it will become convert into the knowledge. So this is simple knowledge. This is the important key message from here. The research help us to test our belief, check whether they are true or not, and after the testing your belief is true or not, and it convert them into the knowledge. Important thing, test our belief, check whether they are true and convert them into the knowledge. Next important things to understanding about the research is the approach. That is means the concept which is related to the approach. Dualistic approach. It is means dualism. That is dualistic perspective of knowledge. How you think about the knowledge. So you have the different prospects. So here we discuss in relation to the research is dualistic approach. So a theory or system of thought that regard our domain of reality in terms of two independent principles, especially mind and matter. Now let us understand an important philosophical idea used in the research called dualism, that is called dualism. So dualism means understanding the reality using two separate but related part. Important things, two separate parts, just right and wrong, both are separate but both are related. So here is an important dualism means understanding the reality. It is means how the researcher they understanding the reality with the help of the using two separate but related part. Just like we giving the simple words, everything can be understood through two sides. Everything wrong, right, left, right, black and white. So everything can be understood through two different sides, but both are related. That is the concept of dualisms in research. The basic idea of dualism is the reality is made of two independent principles, such as mind and body. First important thing. Second is physical and mental. And next is the objectivity and subjectivity. The two different aspects is objectivity and next is subjectivity. This idea was strongly explained by philosopher, that is the name is René Descartes. He said the mind, that is the mind is related to thinking, feeling, and next is body, that is means physical action, are different but the both are connected. The dualism approach in research dualism help us to study of objective data, just like your time, your score, your strength, and study subjective data, just like feeling, motivation, anxiety. In simple word and simple understanding, the dualism is two separate perspectives, mind and body, but important thing is both are important for complete understanding. So we cannot make our understanding only one prospect. So we have two prospects, both are different but both are interrelated and both are important to complete the understanding. So two understanding of the performance, the study of both body and mind of the any athletes. The dualism means here you see in this form as all is wrong, there is two prospect, all is right. Maybe all is wrong, all wrong, all right. A theory or system of thought that is regarded domain of reality in terms of two independent principles. And one independent principle is all are wrong. Second one is all are right, especially mind and matter. The dualism in knowledge, the dualism thinking in the knowledge suggested that the knowledge is divided into two separate categories, right and wrong, left and right. Truth is seen as either right and wrong. So there are clear distinction between the opposing ideas. So now look at this image. We have the one side is all wrong and one side is all right. What does it mean? It shows two opposite perspectives. This is exactly what we call dualism in philosophy and research. And how this image is connected to the concept of research. So understanding something through two opposite and contrasting sides, just like this image, one side everything is wrong, the other side say that everything is right. But in real life, especially we are discussing in the field of research process, in the field of physical education and sports sciences, truth is usually not at one extreme. Important thing is the research understanding is in the research we avoiding saying the 100% right and 100% wrong. We avoid to say all are wrong, all are right. Important thing, instead we say let us test, let us we analyze and find out the evidence that all are right or all are wrong. The important things, we have the some characteristic of dualism approach. The characteristics is divided knowledge into two clear categories, number one categories and number two categories, yes or no. That emphasize contrast and opposition, both are all are right, all are wrong. Focus on certainty and fixed truth. Encourage structure and logical thinking, sometimes oversimplifies the complex realities. Just like next approach of the concept of approach relativistic approach. So after the understanding of dualisms, we move to the relativistic approach of knowledge. The relativistic approach of knowledge stated that the knowledge is not absolute or fixed, but depend on the context. Knowledge is depend on the situation, knowledge is depend on the culture, knowledge depend on the experiences, and knowledge is depend on the prospects. The relativistic approach is someone who believes that truth or right and wrong can only be judged in relation to the other things, and that nothing can be true or right in all situations. There's an important things you can judge all right, all wrong, but in a relation to the other things. But second important thing is dual relativistic approach. The nothing can be true, nothing can be right in all situations. So it depend on this situation. Next important things, according to this view of a relativistic approach of perspective of knowledge, truth can be vary from the person to person, situation to situation. Some situation is truth for you, but is not for others one. The important thing is truth can be vary from the person to person, situation to situation. One important philosopher linked with the relativistic thinking is Protagoras. That is name is Protagoras, who said the man is the measure of all things. Man is the measure of all things. This means knowledge depend on the observer, because man can measure everything. An important thing is the means knowledge depend on the observers. So here we will discuss the basic idea of relativistic approach. We have in the picture is big elephant. It's and everyone has find out a different parts, and on the basis of his previous experiences assume there is a single universal truth. Knowledge depend on the context. Different perspectives can all be valid. An understanding change with the time and experiences. Just like we testing the context base. The knowledge depend on the environment and culture. Important thing is knowledge is flexibility, not rigid or fixed. And knowledge is key feature of the relativistic approach is subjective involvement. Personal interpretation matter, because in a same situation every individuals interpret in different way. So this is means relativistic approach key principle, the multiple truth, more than one correct answer may be exist. And next important thing is the relativistic approach of knowledge is dynamic. Knowledge evolve over time. Knowledge is not fixed, is evolved over the times. Here we see the concept of relativistic approach, understanding the research in thinking yes, no, and maybe. This is the question mark. My dear learner, now look at this image carefully. You can see three important aspects is yes, no, and maybe. This is the question mark. Now tell me, when we think normally, what do we do? Important thing is we usually say either yes, this is correct. Second is means no, this is wrong. And this is simple or dual thinking. Two side only. Everything is maybe yes, correct, and maybe this question is right. That this is dualistic approach. But we come from the dualisms. The dualism means thinking into two opposite sides, right and wrong, yes or no, success or failure. But in research, this is not enough. Okay, this is yes and this is wrong, this is right and this is wrong. It's not enough in the form of research. The real meaning of research means yes means this is yes means assumption, no means rejection, but maybe means giving to you scientific inquiry. That is means the maybe is a researcher thinking. This is the important thing. The after the understanding of relativistic approach, the research was born from the womb of a relativistic perspective of knowledge. Imagine a person who has been seen both rope and snake before. One day during the rainy season, he noticed something long lying in his garden. First time he thinks it's maybe a rope or it's maybe a snake. Here is not sure. This is the situation of doubt. Maybe a snake, maybe a rope. Now instead of guessing, he take a stick, goes closer, carefully and observe it and check it properly. After the examine it, he finally conclude, yes, this is a rope, not a snake. This entire process having doubt, observing, carefully, testing and finally reaching at a correct conclusion is called the research. So the student remember and always the research begin with the doubt and end with the verified truth through a systematic method. This is very strong message and very strong definition of research. The research begin with the doubt, important thing is maybe, and end with verified truth through planned systematic method. Now let us understand the meaning of research in very simple way. The research means search for knowledge. That means whether we try to find out the new information or deeper understanding, we are doing research. Important thing is, so here is first important thing is research means search for knowledge. Next important thing is the meaning of research, the scientific and systematic search for information. It is means research is not random thinking. It's not random. It is planned. It is scientific. It is systematic. It is based on fact. It is step by step process. Next important thing, the meaning of research is art. Research is an art of scientific investigation. Research is also called art because it needs skills, it needs observation, it needs a philosophy, way of thinking of knowledge or truth. It needs proper planning. Just like we giving the example in the from the physical education and sports, a coach is studying a player performance. He observed the movement, he analyzed the mistakes, design training program. So this is both science and skill. That is means is both science and art. Next is the careful inquiry, discover of new fact. Research means to asking the questions simple and finding the answer carefully, not quickly, not randomly. It is planned, systematic process. So means the carefully. It is means giving the answer carefully, not quickly, not randomly. Just like we giving the example from the sports. Why do some athletes get injured more often? In the different kind, one often is injured. Why? To answer of this, we studies training load, we studies of check the techniques, analyze recovery. So we discover the new facts. Just like next is the movement from known to unknown. So this is most important idea in this form in the research, in the concept of research. The research always move from what we already know to what we don't know. For example, we are already know the exercise improve fitness, but we need to want to know which type of exercise is best for beginner. So this is moving from known to unknown process. They giving the space, they giving broad prospects of the knowledge through which we try to find out the different problems. Next important thing is here we will discuss the different kind of the definition which is related to these sports. Just like Kothari, the research is a scientific and systematic search for the pertaining information on a specific topic. The research simply is scientific. It means it follows the scientific methods, proper procedure, is proper planning. Next is the research is systematic. It follow the proper step in sequence. We cannot overlap the sequence. So we have the proper sequence and systematic way to we move to solve any kind of the programs. And research aim to collect relevant information. The main explanation important thing is they collect the relevant information one by one, focus on specific problems or topic, and it helps in discovering new fact, verifying existing knowledge. So this is the explanation of the definition which is given by the Kothari. Next definition given by D. Schlesinger. According to this, the research means working with the thing, idea and symbol in a systematic way to gain new knowledge and improve the existence knowledge. In simple terms, research is about the finding of finding, correcting, expanding that we already know. For example, in relation to the physical education, we change a training method with the help of manipulating and observe its effect on the performance. So we are doing research because we change, we manipulate the training method and find out the effect, how these changes in effect on the performance. So that is the research. So this help us either build a new theories or improve the practical method in the sports. So that is the important things to remember. The research is the systematic effort to improve and expand knowledge for theory and practice. Next definition is the Clark and Clark. Research is careful, systematic, objective investigation conducted to obtain valid fact. So this is an important thing. The research is scientific process, careful process, systematic process, and objective investigation. Main purpose is to obtain valid fact, draw conclusion, and establish principle regarding an identifiable problem in some field of knowledge. The research simple is a systematic, scientific, planned procedure, objective investigation to conduct to obtain the valid fact. Next definition by giving by the P.M. Cook. According to this, the research is a careful, honest, throughout search for fact to understanding the particular problem. It is not done casually. It is required intelligence. It is required the efforts. It is required the accuracy to find the true meaning behind the data. So we need the proper data, we need the accuracy, we need the proper efforts, intelligence, philosophical concepts to solve the real problems and to establish the fact. The most important point is that the finding of research should be authentic, verifiable and useful. The important thing, three very important concept is authenticity of your research, verifiability and usefulness. This means the result should be correct, can be checked by the others, because your research is different and maybe the other research is different. This is not the proper research. So results can be checked by the others and they give the same results always, and should add something new to the existence knowledge. We have the knowledge, you try to add something new in this knowledge, add in something new in the existence knowledge. For example, in the field of physical education, if we study the effect of training program, the our result must be accurate, our result must be testable, our result must be helpful for improving the sports performance. So the important thing is we have some specific concept to, related to your results. Your result accuracy, your result testability, your result helpful for improving the performance. So very important concept is here for remembering. The research is sincere and scientific, systematic search for truth that aid the reliable knowledge. Next is Creswell definition of the research is a process of steps used to collect, analyze information to increase our understanding of a topic or issue. The important thing is the research is a step-by-step process. You complete the first step and then move to the next. You complete the next process, you move the next. It is means step-wise process. In the research, it's not possible you overlapping these steps and complete your task. The important thing with the research is step by step, in sequential, planned, systematic way. And next important thing with the in the research is include the data collections. So you need to some information in the form of qualitative data, in the form of quantitative data. The important thing is you collect the data from the previous researches with the help of experiment. Important thing is include the data collection, and after that the involve the data analysis. The important things, first you collect the data, you record the data, you check the data, you check the normality of data. According to the nature of data, you select the appropriate statistical tool to check or to analyze the data and find out the results. It's improve the understandings. Now after the analysis, you improve the understandings, apply to qualitative and quantitative studies. So these things in and applies in both. Next definition by is Thomas 2005. This definition is the research in physical activity and sport is a systematic process of collecting and analyzing the data to increase our understanding of physical activity, exercise and sports performance. So simple is a systematic and scientific process. So research is not only a non-scientific, this is scientific, systematic and planned process. We focus on the physical activity and sports in relation to the physical activity and sports sciences, involve the data collection, maybe the qualitative and quantitative, and after that we go for the analysis of different statistical tool. Main aim of the research is to improve the performance in relation to the physical education and sports sciences and understanding. Just like we are also applies the result in teaching, coaching and training. Here this first lecture is over, and thank you my dear friends, learner, and today we begin our journey into the world of research by the understanding its basic meaning and foundation. We learn that the research is not just about the reading or collective information. It is careful, scientific and systematic way of finding of truth. We also saw how research helps us to move from the belief to the knowledge and from known fact to the unknown discoveries. This is an important concept. Next important thing, in same context of physical education and sports sciences, this understanding is very important. Whether you are the student, teacher, coach, practitioner, physiotherapist, research enable you to make better decision. Without the understanding of research, it is difficult for you to make the better decisions. It will help to the improve the performance. So because the performance is depend to the different kind of the parameters, performance related parameters, psychological parameter, physiological parameter, biomechanical parameters. The important thing is, with the help of the research, we try to find out the performance related parameters, and then we design the training programs and how these parameters affect the performance. Through the research we try to find out performance related parameters, and then we apply and improve the performance. And next important thing is solve real life problem in a scientific way. So we have the different problems in the education, sports, physical education and real life. So through the research we solve all real life problem, but important thing is in a proper and scientific way. So dear learners, important thing for remember on this idea today lecture, do not accept things blindly. First important things you should ask the questions, observe and verify. This is an important things. Do not accept things blindly. Important thing is the questions, observe and verify. That is the beginning of the research. As we move ahead in this course, we will gradually learn how to identify the research problem, how to design the study, and how to analyze and interpret the data. I encourage all of you to stay curious, think critically, and relate these concepts to real life situation in the field of physical education and sports sciences. Thank you for your attention, my dear learner.